Good morning, Lagos. It's a beautiful morning right here in the city of Lagos, Nigeria. How are you this beautiful Friday morning? I know a lot of us are quite excited that it's Friday. Okay, so I'm also excited that it's Friday. Well, it doesn't exempt me from coming to work during the weekend though. But for some people, this is basically the final day on the week that they have to go to work. So they have Saturday and Sunday to relax. Anyways, what's up with you? Now, something actually happened to me this morning. So, 2 days ago, we had the whole national grid failure thingy, right? I don't know what's going on in my area because it's like they'll give every other person in this country light before light will come to that area. We've not had light for the past 3 days. The weather has been so uncomfortable. This is me complaining. I know it's normal that we're used to complaining in this country or ranting, but hey, it wasn't comfortable at all. Let me even tell you. So I put on the generator, preparing to have my bath and dress up. I don't know what happened. While I was having my bath, the gen went off. And I was like, what could have happened? Is it the fuel or maybe it's oil? And do you know what? I didn't carry torch. There was no light. I didn't have anything. Today, I used my sensory skills, like all my redundant sensory skills that I normally wouldn't utilize. I utilized it this morning. I'm a superwoman. Like, I have superpowers. Welcome to the front page right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. We're actually streaming live on YouTube. I would implore you to go on YouTube right about now. All right. Subscribe, share, and let's look at some national dailies, some select national dailies, and some select headlines on these national dailies. Okay. So I'm going to be starting off with the Punch this morning. I'm sure you already know the routine. The routine is that we take a look at some of these prominent headlines on these selected national dailies. And obviously, Rufai comes in to shed light on those he, feels like reacting to. And then the banter goes on from there. The phone lines come in, and then obviously you get to react to the stories. Now, on the Punch, we have on the front page right there, first headline, local government autonomy. Federal government threatens contempt suit against errant governors. The rider says lawyers, state AGs aiding governors risk LPDC sanctions. Fagbemi accuses governors of treason. That's quite deep. Okay, now, obviously, there's a picture on that particular headline. Below that picture, INEC to phase out PVCs, plans diaspora voting. I want to ask Rufai this question because I want to hear what he has to say. And there's a lot of questions to ask about that, considering what happened in 2023 and the promises that were given by INEC, specifically Mahmoud Yakub, on the Electoral Act of 2022 that was passed and made a lot of Nigerians anticipate the 2023 elections, or for the institution that proposed these new laws within the act to disappoint. So I want to know how this will work, and I want to hear what Rufai has to say about it. Federal government issues 1 trillion naira sukuk bond to fund 124 road projects. You see that on page 17 of the Punch newspaper this morning. All right, that's one of the major headlines, rather not 17, page 37 of the Punch newspaper. Now, Yuletide, IG, that is Inspector General of Police, orders nationwide deployment of corps, and that's on page 7. So obviously, the Nigerian security by the police are already gearing up. They already know how the Yuletide season is and how some persons may not have a sense of decorum. All right, Circular Road, Oyo begins fresh landowners verification. That's on page 44 of the Punch newspaper. And we have above the masthead, imported petrol landing cost drops to 900 naira per litre. You see that story on page 29 of the Punch newspaper this morning. State Police National Executive Committee resumes talks in January 2025. Governors submit reports, and that's on page 41. You know, there have been advocacy for state police, creation of state police. Well, during the tenure of former President Muhammadu Buhari, that was debunked on several occasions. Even when it was brought to the Senate, they also closed it down. The president was not in support of it. So the Senate has resumed talks on that. Let's see how that goes. Tinubu presents 2025 budget to National Assembly Tuesday. That's next week Tuesday, and that's page on. You will see that story on page 41 of the Punch newspaper. Now, precisely immediately beside the masthead, you see tax reform. APC governors may meet National Assembly. ACF raises panel. You see that story on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. Those are the major top headlines on the Punch this morning. So if you actually have the, the hard copy of the Punch newspaper this morning, those are the major headlines in there. The next paper we'll be looking to this morning is the Daily Independent. Daily Independent has as its major headline, Senate asks Wike to stop further demolitions in the FCT. Well, I hope that Rufai will be able to speak on that, because there's quite a lot of uproar and criticism and yanking off on Nyesom Wike, the FCT minister. So I would like to hear what Rufai has to say about this development, and if indeed the Senate will actually look into most of the allegations based on the lands being confiscated, allegations that Nyesom Wike is apportioning those lands to his cronies. We want to know more about that particular story. And the writer there says there is a move to probe allegations of land grabbing, other petitions. Wike blows hot, says he won't be swayed by blackmail. That's interesting. And Akpabio has actually responded to that by saying they cannot stop Wike from demolition, especially if those demolition have court orders. Now, that's another situation as again to contend with. And Wike seems to have a huge battle on his hand to deal with, specifically with the fact that the residents in the FCT are not happy with his current demolition, land grabbing, and all. We'll be discussing that later on the front page. Also, we have 36 governors finally endorsed state police creation to address insecurity. Well, that needs to be attended to by the Senate before there'll be consent or assent to that particular proposition or proposal. We also have this where INEC plans broader voter identity options to enhance electoral efficiency. On Daily Independent, you see that on page 29. You also have NAFDAC alerts on harmful Dickens amoxicillin capsules in circulation. That's on page 7. Drugs have become so expensive that it's not surprising to hear that there is a lot of fake counterfeit products in the market, specifically in this country. A lot of those counterfeit products are in circulation now, obviously, since most of these pharmaceutical companies are no longer operating in the country due to the economic conditions. So it's not surprising to hear that we have more substantiated, or rather non-substantiated drugs circulating the market at this point in time. We also have Kano Governor sacks Chief of Staff, drops SSG, reshuffles cabinet. You see that story on page 6 of the Daily Independent. You also have federal government issued 6 sukuk bonds worth 1.1 trillion naira to finance 124 road. Interesting, all right? Interesting. Obviously, we also heard that Wike's FCT stalls final resolution on the creation of more states. Federal government states to create history sites to boost culture, tourism. And Tinubu presents 47.9 trillion naira 2025 budget to National Assembly on Tuesday. Majority of the headlines actually have, or rather majority of the newspapers actually have that as their major headlines on the front page. Now let's head on to the Guardian newspaper. We have on the Guardian newspaper front page, major headline, more men losing prostate cancer fight to hefty costs. Late detection is one of the issues. That's what the Guardian is saying there. At least 49 cases of prostate cancer recorded daily. And there's a whole entire diagram or a pie chart to indicate, a pictorial diagram to indicate what the whole story in there is all about. And there are statistics in there too. So if you have the Guardian with you, you'll see that on its front page. You also have below that particular headline, Seplat finalizes $800 million acquisition of Mobile Unlimited from ExxonMobil. You see that story on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Federal government also issues 6 sukuk bonds worth 1.1 trillion naira to finance 124 road projects. You also have FCT delays as governors, OK State Police take final decision in January. You see that story on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. Senate subpoenas Julius Berger bus over projects. 2027 INEC plans shift to digital accreditation in new electoral reform. You see that story on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. And obviously, the same news on Wike's story, stop demolitions pending investigations. Senate tells Wike. That story is on page 7 of the Guardian newspaper. Interesting headlines that we actually have on some of these national dailies. And then finally, we're going to be looking at Nigerian News Direct. Nigerian News Direct has as its major headline on the front page, Senate probes FCT demolition, says Wike must explain. And the writer on the Nigerian News Direct says, orders pause on non-court ordered structures as Wike vows to continue crackdown. This is Nigerian News Direct. All right, above the masthead on the front page, we have Seplat Energy completes acquisition of mobile producer in Nigeria. You see that story on page 4 of Nigerian News Direct. Lagos State Government signs memorandum of understanding with Commonwealth Council for collaboration on trade investment. You see that story on page 4 of the Nigerian News Direct as well. And ease of governance, Governor Aiyedatiwa signs 4 executive orders. That's on page 4 of the Nigerian News Direct. Pension assets hit 21.92 trillion naira in October 2024. Amidst challenges, you see that story on page 13 of the Nigerian News Direct. And obviously, interesting headline options that we have here across some of these national dailies. We'll soon be connecting with Rufai very soon to hear his take on some of the headlines actually read out at this particular moment. If you are on YouTube, I would implore you to subscribe and also follow the conversation. We'd like to know what you think based on the questions or the reaction, on most of these headlines as will be discussed on the front page this morning. Also, follow VOP 903 FM across all social media handles. Let us see how we can have conversations on this particular headlines. And most of the headlines are quite repetitive, nothing different, nothing actually new. But let's look at the Daily Post. Daily Post says PDP crisis, Showumi exposes why party lost 2023 polls. Board of Trustees wrong moves is one of the reasons that Showumi mentioned why PDP lost the 2023 polls. We also have in the business arena, World Bank to approve Nigeria's $500 million loan request, 10th loan request under President Tinubu's administration. We still have this developing story on Afe Babalola as well as Daily Faratimi. Alleged defamation, Afe Babalola moves to stop Faratimi from practicing law in Nigeria. That's the latest. We'll continue to get developments on this story as the situation unfolds, as the case unfolds. There's quite a lot of attention, media attention and conversation on it. At this point in time, Faratimi seems like the underdog and represents the average Nigerian. But as this development goes, let's see how it moves and how the case proceeds. So alleged defamation, Afe Babalola moves to stop Faratimi from practicing law in Nigeria. We also have Bauchi lecturers declared 2-week warning strike. National Executive Committee governors endorse creation of state police. Yes, that's basically what we have on the Daily Post this morning. And obviously on the Nation newspaper, major headline story on the Nation newspaper, we have government tampering with council funds, impeachable offense. And this is from the Minister of Justice, stating that governors and government tampering with council funds as local government councils funds is actually an impeachable offense. Federal government to commence testing of mineral samples locally, and this is from the Minister of Mineral Resources, Dele Alake. We're going to be taking a very, very short break. When we return, we need to head into the conversation with Mr. Rufai Oseni, where he'll be responding to some potent questions. Actually, I'm quite interested in some of the headlines, specifically on the one of INEC, the such situation with Dele Faratimi as well, where RA is actually filing that he needs to stop practicing law. We're getting cases from all angles, Abuja, Ogun, Oshun. They intend to actually weaken him, and I don't know how he's going to resurrect from this entire scenario. Elders are being asked to come in and is likely to be released very soon. He's raising the hope and he's asking for unity amongst the Southeasterners, amongst the governors, as well as the residents of those residing in the Southeast to eschew peace and work together so that the insecurity in the Southeast will stop and then there'll be economic development in that particular particular region, while the federal government negotiates the speedy release of Nnamdi Kanu. These and more are some of the conversations I'll be having today on the front page review. We'll take a very short break, and of course, we'll be right back.
Hello.
Hello, Rafai. Good morning. How are you? It's Esther here. Welcome to the front page.
Morning, Master. Merry Christmas. God's
Yes,
blessings to
Merry
all of
Merry
us this
Christmas in
season.
advance, and thank God it's Friday. How are you, Rafai?
Very well, thank you. It's Friday.
Yes,
So I think a couple of stories making the rounds. The number one story will be about President Tinubu presenting a budget, I
yes,
think
on
next
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And the truth has to be said, and we just want to ask some questions. Hope they are not going to pad this budget. And what is going to be this budget performance? And I'm asking those two questions because we've always seen a pattern where people pad budgets unnecessarily. The budget performance is not good, so the effect of the budget is not felt. The Nigeria economy doesn't really do well.
Yeah,
Then you have a
exactly.
lot of challenges because people's selfish interest. I mean, I'll give you instances. There was a revelation made by budget that was showing how the budget was padded, how some schools around Oji River were giving hundreds of millions, how some parasites were giving all sorts of money, which we all know was due to padding, but we didn't see the effect of all of this. So it's a very, very sad one that, you know, all of this is happening at a point in time like this. And we just only expect that common sense to prevail in all of this. So we are begging on the authorities that please do not pad this budget. Another story making the round, and I think Mr. Wike should do it with caution, is this issue about, demolition of buildings. If they say please do it with caution, I think it's just only best he does it with caution. Because you see, you have people there that have been there for so many years. And he also knows that regularization of papers is not that easy. And we cannot deceive ourselves. It is always not that easy, especially when you have government establishment. If we had measures put in place, measures like take, for instance, you have technology, blockchain put in place that you can get your paperwork in once and for all, and you can get all your paperwork done. Well, I've been a whole lot better.
But Rafai, there are allegations against Wike saying that even these demolitions taking place and some of the lands that are being he's actually taken over are being given to certain persons that are supposedly close to him. So the question is, why the rush to demolish? Why the rush to hand over certain properties to certain persons? What exactly is the issue? Is it a remapping of the FCT?
And that's why he should just take care. And I'll give you an instance. I did interview Rita Lorio before.
Yes, we watched that.
And she cited a case of, Kingsley Chinda. How some of the companies that they're not giving the property to can be linked to Kingsley Chinda. She was trying to make a link between Kingsley Chinda and Wike. And I said, okay, provide evidence. But in the light of not having evidence, how do all of a sudden you just want to, property like that will go to certain people that have certain connections? I'm not saying it's directly connected to Wike, but we just need to ask Wike a lot more questions, and that's why he needs to cool down on all of this.
But the Senate is asking that there should be a suspension on some of the demolition, aside from those that has to do with court orders. Akpabio told the Senate that they cannot ask him to suspend these demolitions, but in as much as they want to make some investigations based on what a lot of the residents in that area actually are alleging against Nyesom Wike. Do we see these expediting the process, or possibly the Senate actually looking into it?
I don't see why he should be in a haste to demolish. That's just it. Natasha Akpoti raised the case yesterday. In fact, Ireti also raised the case yesterday. And I think it just only makes sense for him to sheathe his sword on all of this. I don't think it's right, this pace at which it's going. Because you see, when you demolish, when you now have the court drag on, if the court rules in favor of those people in the end, who builds back? Who pays the extra cost of building back all those things? So he should cool down. And please, he should remember, there were some people at some point in Abuja, they will still live at some point. Abuja is not for anybody.
Do we see a repetition of Wike towing the path of El Rufai, former FCT minister as well? We had all of this kind of outcry at the time. Hello?
Never forget that.
Okay.
Power is transient, it comes and goes. I am not also saying people that have land or they claim they have land to regularize things, but it's transient. And you see, Wike has also expressed that level of recklessness in his speech, and I'll give you an instance.
Okay.
You remember the case of Julius Berger that he said, "Oh, I called the chairman of Julius Berger to dinner. I didn't even tell him the next year I revoked the land they gave them."
Yes, he said that brazenly.
Because they had not developed it. Do you know the agreement of which they gave them that land in the first place? Probably maybe Wike was a baby or was in secondary school when those lands were given. So please, you need to be able to understand things and just ensure that you do things properly. All this, braggadocious nature, I can do it and get away with it. Anyway, it's in Nigeria where there's no accountability that people can get away with blue murder.
All right, Rufai, what would you say about INEC proposing computer-generated voting slips as alternative to PVCs for future elections?
Don't mind them, Esther. Don't mind them. It's not they were not proposing anything. In the last election, there was a particular case. In fact, I brought that guy on VOP. His name is Victor Patola. There were some residents that were not allowed to vote with temporary voters card because they have PVC. And they took that case. Victor Patola went to court with them and he won that case. So it's a reflection of testing the law. And that's why they are now saying that anything that identifies you. And those were part of the rulings of the court that time. And the court did rule that you could even vote your temporary voters card and all of that.
Rufai, can you recall in 20...
Your temporary voters card is just still like a slip that has a barcode. The most important thing is the barcode that represents your information.
Rufai,
anyway, it will still be authenticated by the biometric system. So it's not it's just a presentation slip.
But the thing is,
Rufai,
there's a situation with Nigerians trusting anything that comes from that institution. You recall in 2022 when Mahmoud Yakub told us that we're going to see results real time on the IRF portal. And it happens to be that the same institution actually disappointed Nigerians during the presidential elections when we couldn't see the results real time. Now, that was a proposition, all right, on INEC's Electoral Act that a lot of Nigerians were happy about, and it made a lot of persons come out to vote massively. So how do we know most of these propositions actually being enacted here or thought to be considered will actually be implemented?
With due respect, I don't have an iota of belief for anything INEC says. I don't have an iota of belief. The way you will know if this is going to be enacted is, please, let's go back to the electoral law. Because you see, most of the things INEC said they were going to do, the power of the IREV and all of that, it was after the election they were telling us that it was not in the electoral laws. Till today, Esther, they have not reviewed those electoral laws to include those things.
Exactly.
To include the acceptance of the results on the IREV as a paramount result, transmission modalities and things like that. They've not still fixed all those things we pointed out after the 2023 election. So 2027 election will just be a charade. And most importantly, please, you can help me co-ask Mahmoud Yakub. What is the glitch that happened only at the presidential election that day? Till today, he's not told us. If it's a sensible country, they should have allowed the law to be able to make Yakubu tell us what constituted that glitch. Till today, he's not told us. And everybody's looking.
No, he has held several press conferences to address it, but he was never explicit. He has had several press conferences to address it, but he was never explicit as to what caused the glitch. He just said it was a malfunction.
So, as far as I'm concerned, if somebody can't tell us what considered the major faux pas in his presidential election, I can never believe anything that comes out of his mouth.
All right. What will you say about Afe Babalola moving to stop Farotimi from practicing law in Nigeria? We're seeing court summons and writs coming from several states, all right, against Dele Farotimi. Do you think he's going to survive all of this?
With due respect, Dele has already said he's been a retired lawyer for long ago. That's what he says. So he's been retired for long ago.
So where is Afe Babalola saying he's taking a step further in the expression of his anger against Dele Farotimi over the case that he's going to ensure that he stops practicing law in the country when Dele Farotimi is already a retired lawyer?
So I'm not sure. Maybe Afe Babalola was following the news. Dele has always said he's been a retired lawyer for long ago. I doesn't even associate with the law associations. because of the system. So I don't know where Afebalala probably is not up to date as regards the scheme of things. But Afebalala trying to say he wants to stop somebody to practice law in the country. You see, it just shows the high-handedness we are talking about.
Right. Let's agree that Araf Babalola has a right to defend himself, clear his name based on what he considers to be defamation.
But does he have the right to stop another man from practicing law because you have a case of defamation against him? Has Araf Babalola not defamed people? Did Dele Faroti will not sue Afe Babalola for defamation in the past, that the case never saw the light of day. So when Dele sued Afe Babalola, did he ever say, I was going to move the case further to stop you from practicing law? You can see the so-called high-handed.
But the thing now is that we're having most of those working with Afe Babalola writing more summons against Dele Faroti. It's almost like they're not giving him an opportunity to present the evidences on the said defamation in the book.
It's part of the tactics. So
are we going to see this going for a long ride? Are we going to see Dele being incarcerated for so long?
No, he's going to have a trial. He will present his what's it called in court, his evidence in court, and he will have his day. But let me also tell you something about defamation that I've seen in this country.
Okay.
There was a certain man that sued for defamation, and truly, the people that he sued for defamation came to present the facts in court, and that man went to jail. Truth is the defense for defamation. So Dele too had better get his facts right.
So you're telling me now that there's a difference between truth and fact. Even if something is truthful and there is no fact to prove it, you could actually be seen as the one who committed the crime.
No, he must have fact to prove it. Definitely. He must have fact to prove it. And also, it now goes to what is admitted under the Evidence Act. So another thing a lot of people now need to understand is what becomes admissible in the Evidence Act. There's something called an Evidence Act. What becomes admissible in that Evidence Act. And if he proves his case in court, then definitely, truth is your defense in defamation.
A lot of persons are likening Dele Farotimi's case with that of Nnamdi Kanu. Is there a similarity in both instances?
No,
there's no similarity. They feel that Dele Farotimi is also as radical as Nnamdi Kanu was, quite expressive, not conscious of certain words that they use.
No. Yes, there's no total comparison.
So, but do we see this being settled in such a way, being the fact that they're both from the same tribe?
There's no comparison in any way, shape,
or form.
Spirit of. At all.
All right, Rufai, before I let you go, let's look at a situation like this. We've had Peter Obi coming to intervene or intercede in the situation. We've had Obasanjo and a couple of other elders to try to see how they can, quell the entire scenario. These are men from the same region, from the same tribe, and see other means through which they can resolve this. But the question is, this kind of opportunity doesn't come out for any average Nigerian who has found themselves in a situation like this. So the average Nigerian who is not popular, who is not famous, who does not have that clout, what happens? Who advocates for that average Nigerian?
The reason why probably Peter Obi will get into the fray is because the role they define what you play.
Yes.
That's one factor. Secondly, why the likes of Obasanjo are coming into it? Because the closeness of Obasanjo, and he's one of the biggest national stories. So people can come in to mediate and all that. But also, I got from the grapevine from that Dele is saying that any mediation must be done on his own terms too.
Wow.
Because you can't keep a man in incarceration and tell him to, have an agreement for mediation. No, it has to be looked at on his own terms. But let's see the court. You can't keep it in detention. So that's just it.
All right, Rufai, thank you very much. I know that you're preparing to head to work.
I got to go. Bless you.
Yes,
bye.
Thank you so much. That was Rufai Senida giving us his own purview in some of the headlines across the national dailies or select national dailies that I read out this morning. And one of the things also that I would like us to also think deeply into based on some of these headlines is the fact that in the case of the INEC chairman, for example, Mahmoud Yakub, in 2022, he certainly asserted and confirmed to Nigerians that the new Electoral Act reform, which was implemented to ensure that we have a more inclusive and well-broadened, transparent electoral practice in 2023, was one of the reasons why a lot of Nigerians actually advocated for that Electoral Act. I had never seen Nigerians so intense in having to support something they consider will be to their own betterment. And we saw the huge influx of participation, specifically of a certain demography of the Nigerian populace, right? We had a lot of youth quite involved in that particular political dispensation when it was a pivotal moment for Nigerians to decide who represents them and who represents their interests. And that particular act that was enacted. The institution that actually promised that that particular act or that particular process will be transparent across board, defaulted in that regard. And up till now, like Rufai had said, they had not given an explanation. How do we know that this supposed new electoral reform will actually be transparent, will actually work? You had more than 360 or 320 billion naira allocated to the institution to conduct elections. And we saw all the transpired in 2023, all the porosities, all the anomalies, which they had told us they had worked on to ensure it doesn't repeat itself. We saw a similar scenario in the off-cycle elections as well, with all the thuggery, ballot snatching, and all of that. The effect of the 2023 elections, Nigerians are still facing it. Bigotry, hatred, defamation, all kind of ethnic slurs have arisen from that particular elections of 2023. So how do we know that this particular implementation or this particular, will I say, updates on INEC's proposal, about 540 pages of this, is actually going to be implementable, is actually going to work, will work in the favor of Nigerians? How are we certain about that? That's one angle to actually consider this. And then if we also look at other scenarios, specifically as that of Daily Faritimi, for example, we don't know how the case will be looked into. We don't know how it will be resolved. We're hoping that something comes up as soon as possible. Then, of course, Kenneth Okonkwo is one person that has been bemoaning and talking about the fact that the persons who are defecting from the Labour Party is due to the leadership situation in the Labour Party. And this particular time, he's talking about Julius Aburi. He's actually saying that there is a need to revamp the Labour Party, which starts from the head, the person representing the Labour Party. Most of the House of Rep members that got their tickets under the party of Labour have actually defected to the All Progressives Congress. Now, the big question is this: are we saying that 2027 is already certain for actually the APC if we have all of these persons from different political parties joining the All Progressives Congress? And other people are saying that why is Atiku having to come up on board or look for an Atiku and Peter Obi when it's certain that if that particular flag was flown in 2019, how are we certain that it will be effective in 2027? So at the same time, it almost feels like the APC already has it on ground. If you have the third force now having to be a part of the ruling party, then where does that leave Labour Party? Where does that leave other opposition parties? All right, that's a big question that a lot of persons are asking. And obviously, we also have a situation where a German international agency, the German Initiative for Knowledge Transfer, has renewed its calls to the federal government to end insecurity in the southeast by releasing Nnamdi Kanu. The country director of the agency, Honorable Obinna Ichita, made the call on President Bola Tinubu to intervene on Kanu's travels, saying his continued detention has perpetuated the insecurity plaguing the southeast. While Kalu has actually promised that the process of Nnamdi Kanu's release is also already on ground, and advocating for there to be peace and harmony and synergy among Southeasterners, and to trust President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administrations and policies to ensure that the Southeast will benefit more from his administration than the purported calls or the purported claims, all right, that the Southeast is always disenfranchised, marginalized, isolated from federal development prospects and proceeds and initiatives. He's actually affirming that President Tinubu actually has the Southeast at hand. All right, it's time for us to hear what you have to say. Let's see how this goes. The number to call is 0700 903 903 903. That's the number for you to call, 0700 903 903 903. And the WhatsApp number that you can use to send your messages to is 0817 1756 338, 0817 1756 338. That is the WhatsApp number to send your messages to. I can already see your messages on YouTube. Please keep it clean, keep it civil. This morning, okay, let's be good people. Let's have logical conversations. So let your thoughts be logical, without any slurs, without any abuse or any form of defamation. Let's just hear your logical reasoning and your recommendation to all of these conversations that we've had on the headlines across the select national dailies. The number to call once again is 0700 903 903 903, and the WhatsApp number is 0817 1756 338. This is a front page review right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. Hello. All right, please call the WhatsApp line. I'll appreciate it if you call the WhatsApp line. All right. Let me read some of your WhatsApp messages right about now. Okay, I'm already having calls. Hello, good morning. How are you?
Well, good morning, Esther.
Good morning, sir. What's your name and location, please?
My name is Chukuma from Elasa.
All right, Mr. Chukuma, please go ahead.
Yes, what we are talking about on a release of Nnamdi.
Yes.
If they can do that, peace will reign
Okay.
in the southeast,
Mm.
and then peace will reign in Nigeria.
Okay.
I don't know why they are holding that man there, since court has declared he should go. The president, why is he delaying to release Nnamdi? All this they are talking, they will release. We have been hearing it since 2 years. Does it cost anything to say Nnamdi go? Again, INEC, we struggle to vote our choice. And INEC was telling us story that something happened, this happened. Please, they should ask that chairman, is he going to conduct another election like that again? That's my submission.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you for calling. Please kindly call the WhatsApp number, right? I would sincerely do appreciate if you call the WhatsApp number is 0817-1756-338. 0817-1756-338. What do we have on the National Daily's prominent stories in there? The Senate has actually asked the stalling of the proposed demolition in the FCT by Nyesom Wike for proper investigation to be carried out. And Godswill Akpabio says that, well, not all of the houses or properties can be demolished because some have court orders, so they cannot stop Nyesom Wike from having to perform his function if there are court orders. But a lot of Nigerians are saying that what if those court orders are bought over for certain reasons? So you just manipulate the system, and so long as you have the means to do that, and then they demolish the house based on the fact that there is a court order ahead of that. And there's a lot of outcry, in regards to that particular situation. So in the case of Nyesom Wike, what exactly is going on? Why the spree? Why the hurry? Why the haste? That's a question a lot of Nigerians are asking. In the case of INEC, for example, we see that INEC has actually conscripted a new proposal whereby the system now, aside from the fact that you have to collect your PVCs, you're saying you no longer need your PVCs. All right, you can use your PVCs, yes, but for some persons who have not gotten their permanent voter cards, they can actually use computer-generated slips. That this way it is more affirmative, it's more security, positioned in terms of the fact that each of the slips have certain biometric numbers, so it cannot be replicated or your vote cannot be bought. But Nigerians are reacting to it. They believe that anything that comes from the institution is never ever for the benefit of the general people, is basically intended for certain purposes. So how will INEC have to rebrand itself when Nigerians actually trust the process or trust them to keep true to form or keep true to themselves? All right, that's what a lot of Nigerians are asking INEC. How do we trust your process? How do we trust all that you say? How do we trust this new electoral reform that you want to implement? And how are we certain that it would even count on the said 2027 elections, considering what Nigerians experienced in 2023? Okay, that's basically one scenario to consider. In the case of Daily Fari to me as well, we do know the development at this time. Hello, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Esther Machuku.
Good morning. Zara Nadi, right?
Yes, Zale. How are you, my dear?
I am fine. Welcome. Go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Esther, well, let me just start with INEC.
Okay.
I don't know, the Nigeria press are not even giving me joy at all. Mahmoud, how can Mahmoud, they just bring news of Mahmoud? Did Mahmoud supposed to listen to Mahmoud? I don't know. Esther, okay, let me just leave. Esther, just say, I don't know what is happening. Esther, I don't know when they extend this Mahmoud stay as this INEC chairman.
Okay.
Every this thing spent only 5 years. I don't know when they went to Senate and they extend to this guy is supposed to step down 2020. Jega just step after this thing. Jega was 2010 to 2015, and this guy was Humphrey. No, sorry, Maris Iwu.
Morris, you will.
5 years. There's about the suspended in 2 days. This thing, 2 weeks before the end of his tenure, which is four before he spent 4 years and there's something there. If 5 years supposed to spend, Jega 5 years. Why is Mahmoud trying to spend 10 years? I don't know. Please try and find out why this Mahmoud they going to extend it and they extend it. I don't know why. That says this guy after what he look at what Nigeria is going through. And this man will just come out to the camera. People will just listen to him. And at the end, they don't bring it for Nigeria to read. It's very painful. This on this wiki and this Abuja, I blame Abuja if I don't know what is happening in Nigeria.
Okay, you blame them.
This they said this thing this Abuja instead of the Abuja, they said Abuja is happen to be a state. Then what is Wike doing there as governor of that place? Why is it the issue that others? Why is Wike there? I don't know. Abuja, I don't know. The people of Abuja, I don't know why they just keep mute and the people. This is happening there. That somebody from this university to just come and governing them. If they say that Abuja is a state, why is somebody from Abuja not governing that state? Why is it Wike? You see? Oh God. You see, one thing is this, and let me round up on the one of this thing, Parotimi.
Okay.
I don't know why the country where we find ourselves, they said we are in a civilized country. I don't know. Somebody will just issue that it will stop somebody. Who is the person? What is happening in that country? Let me just take it easy this morning. Have a great day, my dear.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
But we must remember that Dele Farrington is no longer a practicing lawyer, so the threat by Afe Babalola to stop him from practicing law can no longer hold sway anymore because he's no longer practicing law. He is a retired lawyer. Unless the only means that we want to do it is to ensure that whatever legal documents, legal awards, legal prerequisites, that is his accomplishments in the legal profession, maybe they may decide to want to confiscate it. That's the only way I see them having to continue with the punishment on his release of this book. Okay, the number to actually call right now is 0817-1756-338. That's the WhatsApp number. So I would implore you to actually call that WhatsApp number, 0817-1756-338. Call that WhatsApp number. Let's hear what you have to say concerning most of the stories on some of the select national dailies as we read out this morning. Okay, so let me start on WhatsApp and some messages from Mazi Ugochukwu, also known as Elder General Isheri Oshun. Labour Party should withdraw all these opportunists. They gave political platform and they must suffer for the betrayal. It's very disturbing that Okwama elders are dying under military detention and federal government chooses to keep quiet. Wike should be removed as FCT minister because he's abusing the little power he has. Free Nnamdi Kanu. Hello, good morning. How are you? Ajay Boss, how are you?
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Mr. Esther, I'm calling from Thailand.
All right, welcome.
Okay. I want to contribute regarding this INEC issue and Southeast issue regarding Mazen and the Kanu.
All right.
It baffles me that Nigeria has continued to follow any directive coming from INEC and particularly Mahmoud as the chairman of INEC since after he does what he does in that 2023 election. It baffled me that they have followed up doing some kind of governorship election and some kind of party are still abiding to his rules without protesting profusely. I want to tell Nigerians, going into election whereby Mahmoud remains chairman is like committing they break suicide. They should not, in fact, they should not consider it. I know that there are many things that is happening and issues overtake issues in Nigeria, but what mistake they will make again is allowing INEC to conduct any kind of transaction, calling because I call it transaction, it's not election. And going to start is I will sit down and I will be wondering how my brothers are thinking. Although they say that I'm from South Delta State, but
Hmm.
I see myself as an Igbo son. And what is happening in Southeast, as in, it baffles me that some people, there has continued to condemn what they're supposed to know, never to condemn. Okay, now, Mazi Eva has been to one note now. And people has been calling for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Federal government continue playing the ping pong, continue doing politics with some kind of intellectual as in Southeast. They will come and sugarcoat the federal government say this, federal government say, Ebony State governor then Omahi. They promised us everything. Heaven and earth that once the APC come in power again, Nnamdi Kanu will be released. What is happening now? I hate to say this, Esther. Let me say this. I hate to say this. You see, federal government and people inside this government, they are intelligent. All those propaganda that Simon Ekpa, they know that Simon Ekpa is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and they know that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is Simon Ekpa, and they know that if they release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, all those followers of Simon Ekpa will return to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and we will continue fighting for freedom. That is why continue playing this ping pong.
All right, thank you so much. You've taken 3 minutes. Actually, we need to take more. We need to take more calls. All right. Thank you very much. Okay. 0817-1756-338, 0817-1756-338. Please call that number. All right. Call the WhatsApp number. I will definitely respond to you. I'll pick up your call. While that is ongoing, let me read some WhatsApp messages here. From Ugo Michael from College Road, Oba. I urge everyone here to remain calm. Mahmoud will surely teach Tinubu the bitter part of him. The only problem is that he will equally give another criminal the mantle. In 2027, Tinubu will clearly see the real colors of Fulani, and Mahmoud will still collect twice or more of the sum he collected from him, Tinubu, during the last general elections, and still turn the table against him to favor their own. How do we know that Mahmoud collected money from the president? Please, let's not make assertions that there are no proof. So you need to provide proof. If there's no proof, please don't make assertions, all right? Hello, good morning. How are you? Kindly turn down your radio. Can you do that now?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Hello, Esther.
Yes, ma. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you
I'm
this
fine.
morning?
Good morning. Thank
How
you
is
for calling.
okay? How is Ikami?
Ikami's fine. Ikami
Judy?
actually took a brief
Okay.
break. He has gone on leave just for a very few.
All right.
Yes, exactly. Go ahead.
Esther, I always text you. I love your soothing voice.
Thank you
Sweet
very
soothing
much.
voice. God bless you. And
Thank you.
just be a VOP. Concerning Mazi Nnamdi Kanu,
Yes.
I think like people have been saying, it's a political thing.
Okay.
If what's it called, the Buhari
Mm.
has not given the go ahead for Mazi Kanu to be released, nobody will release Nnamdi Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu, nobody will release him. Well, my own opinion, it looks like Buhari is having penchant hatred for the Igbos. I think it's a vendetta of a Biafra war. He's now he has gotten hold of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Seems like he has gotten hold of the old Easterners. That's from my own point of view. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
If not, and this man, in the Aso Rock, I don't like mentioning his name. Because they are so close, they are allies. So if they are not that close, I think he would have released Nnamdi Kanu.
Okay.
They don't want to release this man. Probably when another regime will come, maybe that is when Nnamdi Kanu will be released. Afe Babalola, is it the president of Nigeria? It's like everybody is now playing the role of the president. Like this man who went to Chatham House. Okay, they asked him question. Okay, you answer. The man in Aso Rock, his name is from T, starting from T. You Rufai, answer. They throw a question at him. You answer. That is what is. So it is not him that is ruling Nigeria. It is the people around him.
Okay.
He is just that they only push him to represent. Baba, you can get the presidential ticket for us. So yeah, go. He went. Then he said, "Leave the rest for us. We will be doing the ruling." So it's the people around them that are ruling, around him that are ruling, not this man. Not this man in the Aso Rock day. It's not the one. Then again, concerning Nyesom Wike, there is no way the House of Assembly will be in support of the people. It is, is it not, what's it called? That Nakpabio, they were serving Bogjabi Amelia food in his house. And how will you now want them to turn around and work against, what's it called, Wike? Wike, they are going to support him to continue the demolition.
Yes.
But the thing is that they've all forgotten that they will leave this position someday, sometime, and nemesis will catch up with each and every one of them. They should release Farotimi. Farotimi has not done anything. Man, Afe Babalola should leave Farotimi alone. He's a baba. If he has not done anything wrong, then let's go to and release this man and let him to go on bail. But they know what they are doing. They know they are all evil. But someday, sometime, I'm saying nemesis will catch up with each and every one of them.
Right.
Whether they are alive or their children will pay for it. God bless you, Sister Esther. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
All right. So you know, right here on VOP, we like to have a balanced report, right? Now we know that even before now, Dele Farotimi has always called out President, or rather Are Afe Babalola, on several occasions, even when he granted the press interview, and he has always been specific about certain details. So the question is are Nigerians saying that he doesn't have a right to defend himself? I'm talking of Are Afe Babalola. And then, of course, the question now is, why can't he be given an opportunity to produce the evidence therein in the books, as he claimed? The book he released, obviously, he knew that the system will fight back. So when you know the system would fight back, you must have gotten yourself ready. Maybe you have saved your evidence somewhere in the dark web or somehow, somewhere. So if that is the case, why not give him another opportunity to present his hard facts? Now, he's being bombarded with several summons from Ogun State, from Abuja, from Osun. Most persons who work in Are Afe Babalola's chambers are actually writing summons, and it's almost like as he's getting done with one, he's entering into another one. So even if he makes sales from the proceeds of the book, literally what they've done is the fact that it will consume him with so many cases that the proceeds he would have generated from that book is basically what he'll be using to try to bail himself out. So what is the solution right about now? How will this particular matter be resolved? Are is saying that unless Dele Farotimi is able to provide evidence, or he will retract all the things he said in his book, stop publishing that book, bars the book. How do you do that? The book has gone global. A lot of persons are already reading it. Some are even already patenting that particular book. What I mean by that is they're making photocopies of it. So it's already being it has gone beyond what you can stop, and it has resonated. It has awoken appetites. It has awoken curiosities of a lot of persons. The book has somehow validated the conspiracy theories about the Nigerian judicial system. So there is a lot actually in that particular regard. How is this situation going to be handled? How would it be looked into? What is the proposition to ensure that there's no repetition of that situation next time? Could this be a means to teach him a lesson, and every other young person who seems to be radical and who thinks that they can take on the system, probably because this is a generation that allows people to be quite expressive? This is basically what we should be asking ourselves, and what is your reaction to that? Okay, 0817-1756-338. That's the number to actually send your messages to, and call, please. I want you to also call that WhatsApp line. I'll sincerely do appreciate if you're able to do that, so we can hear what you had to say concerning some of the conversations that we've had this morning on the front pages. Good morning, VOP family. The NNPL saying petrol landing cost is now 900 naira, while Dangote's selling price is 920 naira. So what is going on in the petroleum sector? Is a song of Dangote refinery coming on board now a cause instead of a blessing to Nigeria? Why NNPCL prefers importation of petrol, reasons best known to them. The Minister of the FCT, Wike, should be told if he doesn't know that nothing lasts forever, he should learn from history. Where are the past Nigerian presidents who thought they'll rule forever? Benjamin from Shuguli. Well done, Benjamin. Good morning, VOP family. Tinubu to present 2025 budget to National Assembly next week, Tuesday, and the budget will be impactful to politicians and their families. Leo from Lagos. Good morning to all VOP family. I want to know the negative power troubling our national grid. It has collapsed 12 times this year. This, I believe, was man-made in order to simply be cashing out. What APC government cannot do does not exist. To restart the national grid, $25 million is required. Times this amount by 12, then you would know how much some people have pocketed. By the end of this administration, some of these people will be ready to buy the whole nation to themselves. Chud from Ayetoro. Well done, Chud. Good morning, VOP station, and thank God it's Friday. Who is fooling who? The issues of landing cost of fuel. What happened to our refineries here that it will cost federal government to fix the refineries with all this money that they borrow here and there? Mr. Wike have assumed the position, but I want him to know that nothing lasts forever. Now he's stepping on toes of Nigerians, and Mr. President sees all this and keeps mute. INEC is looking for the easiest way to rig 2027 elections because they know that APC will not win one local government if free and fair elections are conducted. Wow, that is quite huge and deep. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Esther.
How are you? Good morning.
Compliment of the season.
Same to you.
And I also want to welcome you on board.
Thank you.
Yes, my name is Comrade Olufemi Daniel, calling from Igondo area.
All right, Comrade Olufemi Daniel, please go ahead.
Well, I'll be talking on three basic things this morning.
All right.
I'll be talking on the issue of Dele Farochimi and Baba Afe Babalola.
Okay.
What I will talk on that precisely is this. By law, if somebody has actually made a slanderous or a defamatory statement or remarks about an individual, the legal way is for you to sue that person into the law court of the expected jurisdiction, not a way of incastrating or frustrating.
Okay.
It is after the court case, and when the person in question is found guilty, then the necessary laws or punishment or whatever will now be melted. But if you look at the title of that book itself and what is ongoing, it is a clear reflection, because it's like putting the cart before the horse. I want to rest on that. People should realize that whatever they do today, it will be a precedent and records for the future. Even children and generation yet unborn will find time to reach it in the future. That is by the way. The second thing has to do with Nyesom Wike. You may not have understood his personality. Nyesom Wike is a domineering individual. And I can tell you that it's like the second president in Abuja.
Wow.
I must confess to you.
Wow.
Yes.
That's true.
Because if he has said it, if he has said it, yes, if he has said it emphatically that regardless of what National Assembly says, it goes on.
Yes.
It simply means it's above the law. My third remark this morning is for people who are in political positions and offices to realize one thing. The clear difference and distinction between military rule and civilian or democracy, as it's called, is the National Assembly. During military rule, they have the executive and they have the judiciary. But they don't have National Assembly. Unfortunately, the National Assembly is supposed to be the mouthpiece of the people, has also been caged and silenced. So what can now be described as Nigeria democracy can simply be put as civilian military regime. A situation whereby you don't even have the right to talk, for your talk to be challenged at the competent court of law. Rather, you will be victimized, frustrated, if care is not taken, killed. So what are we talking about? All of us fought during the Abacha regime on the basis for the fact that he's ruling the country by the might of decree and orders. So what are they ruling Nigeria with now? The opinions of the people don't count. The suggestion of the average Nigeria does not make any sense. And what are we saying? We are saying we are in democracy.
All right.
On the part of the INEC chairman, let's be very honest.
We need to call that
Sorry, please. On the part of INEC chairman, he must not be part of those that will conduct 2027 elections. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Wow, that was quite in-depth. All right. That was quite in-depth. People, 90.3 FM, this is a front page review. And this time around, we're getting your reactions. We're in the reactionary segment and the recommendation segment. And I said, send your WhatsApp messages. Send it to 0817-1756-338. And you can also call that particular number as well. So we get to hear what you have to say on some of the national dailies, headlines across some of the select national dailies that were read out here. Hello. Good morning to you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. I am fine. Name and location, please.
Okay, I'm Joshua. I'm calling you from Germany.
All right, Joshua from Germany. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to contribute on the area of Farotimi.
Okay.
To release Farotimi, I don't think he has committed any crime. See, the legal way to do something, when he wrote, then you have you are paid, then you take him to court, not to be using police and other thing to persecute him. Then he will prove his writing. You understand? See, you see the exactly what you wrote. Now you see it's like a man who want to make a movie. First of all, write down the script, then the people will come and exactly what he wrote. That is what they are acting now. I think he has been vindicated. That is just the truth.
All right. Thank you so much.
They should leave him. You know, about 2 or 3 days ago, they were talking about Peter Obi visit. Why did they visit? Why did they visit? The first thing Peter Obi said when he said, we have to deal with this rascality. These are the rascality we are talking about. These are the rascality. If Nigeria continues like that, it will not work. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. Thank you so much for your factual recommendation or critical analysis of the conversation this morning. I sincerely do appreciate your input. You can still participate on the program. The front page review is still ongoing, and the number to send your messages to is 0817-1756-338. 0817-1756-338. But now I'm going to read out some messages because there are quite a lot of messages here, and I like to read most of it, especially it's owned by some group of people. That was they are doing what they like. No good road, collapsing of the national grid, high price of PMS and hunger all over Nigeria. Until INEC and judiciary give the good people a chance to govern Nigeria, this country can never move forward. Please let them free Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Ibezim is my name. Have a blessed weekend. Have a blessed weekend to you too. Good morning, Esther. All these long discussions on the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu become suspicious. Which long dialogue took place for release of Igboho, Showore and others? Justice delayed is certainly justice denied. I don't understand all these elongated dialogue on his release. They should release MNK. Have a great day. Okosisi from Surilere. Thank you, Okosisi, for that. This is from Chidi from Oshodi. I heard Rufai begging our leaders not to pad the budget. That's like begging a group of hyenas not to devour an antelope. They will laugh at you and do the do. Okay. Good morning, VOP. On the release of MNK by the Deputy Speaker Kalu, this is not the first time we're hearing that. The federal government isn't ready to do the right thing and on the right time. I believe that one day MNK will be free. The Southeast politicians are benefiting from MNK's detention, but nothing lasts forever. Davies from Ipaja. All right, well done, Davies. Good morning, VOP. Please tell Wike that he is not God. He should mind the way he talks. Let him remember tomorrow. Chief Akwerebe. All right, Chief, thank you so much. We hope that Wike is listening for this warning to be given to him. Good morning, VUP. My take is on Afe Babalola's alleged moves to stop Dele Faritini from practicing law. I think all these odd moves against Faritini point at is to silence him. Faritini from further exposing the auditors ravaging the Nigerian judiciary. Please, Pa Babalola should let me ask him this question. Sir, please don't be offended. Where could you likely be in the next 10 to 20 years, considering your present age? At this point, I will appeal to Nigerians to always think and put first the hereafter in all we do. This is salient because all shall give account of his or her life to God Almighty in due time. Egege from Agege. Well done, Egege. Hello, good morning. How are you?
Hello, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Absolutely well.
Okay. All right. My name is Emmanuel. I'm calling from Finland.
Wow, Emmanuel. Go ahead. Welcome.
All right. Concerning demigod Wike, I just have a question to ask him. Where are the demigods of the past?
All right.
Where are they today?
Okay.
All right. Let him ask that question. Let him answer that question. Because now he's doing as if he's a demigod. Nobody can talk to him. He cannot be talked to. I'm not saying because looking at the other side too, possibly people may have done wrong. People may have built houses. Let's balance the issue. But the way he's going about it, are we sure there's a court order that he should go ahead and do that? These are human beings, life savings and everything. Anyway, I'm done with that. Concerning Dele Faritimi and Ase Babalola, you see, I'm not a law student, but common sense tells me that it should be that after judgment, okay, he's been found guilty, then they say, okay, close, seize his materials, don't practice law again. And I mean, judgment, will be meted on him according to the rule of law, isn't it?
Yes.
But this one is still being tried, but he has not even been tried, sir. Now we are hearing shut down his material. This. Where is this coming from? Shouldn't it be after he's been found guilty? I think common sense tells me that it's after he's been found guilty, then subsequent judgment, will follow. So this, just like the last caller said, this goes to show that there is panic. Whatever he has written there, there's a sense of truth in it. First it was defamation. Now I'm hearing other people are coming in to accuse him of cyber crime, and they don't even want. I mean, what are we looking for? It doesn't make any sense. They should just face what is defamation. Okay, go to court. Guilty. All right. Because you have been found guilty, this follows. Simple. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much for being concise in your criticism. Well done. All right, the number to actually call, just like I told you earlier, is to call the WhatsApp line 0817-1756-338, 0817-1756-338. You call that number and also send your WhatsApp messages right on there. I get to read it out here. So let me read out some messages on YouTube. Anne Maxwell says, good morning, Esther and Rufai. Good morning to you, Anne. Vincent Chuk says, good morning, VOP family. Good morning to you, Vincent. Advanced Adam says, good morning. Good morning to you too. Sia Song says, no one can weaken delivery to me. That's good. Lucky Ibako, Esther, good morning and happy weekend. God help Nigeria. Lucky from Newcastle, UK. All right, thank you, Lucky. Obed Oji, Esther, great presentation, well done. I sincerely salute. Thank you very much. Chuka Ochama says, please, where is Cordelia Okwe? Has she left the station? Okay, obviously she has. Yes, she has left the station, but you can hear her as well. She's still on. She's still very, very active. Also, Biafra 147 says, Biafra is unstoppable and not negotiable. All right, Candid, well done. We still have more messages on YouTube. You can still send your messages. I'll read it. Kenezike says, Esther, good morning. Hope you're not working the whole day. Oh, no, I'm not working the whole day. Obed Oji says, Esther, yes, there is a thin line between truth and fact. For instance, it is a fact that it was hunger that made me take bread that doesn't belong to me, but the truth is I have stolen by doing that. Interesting. Well done, Obed. For more of your messages, kindly send my messages. We're going to read it out here on YouTube. Okay. Official Dawn. Esther, good morning. From Germany, please stay safe. All right, thank you very much. I will stay safe, and compliments of the season to you. I'm going to take some of your messages now as well, continuously. Good morning, VOP. Keep on being a beacon of light, and please don't be intimidated, coerced, or bought to join APC. We shall definitely overcome the vagabonds. Senior Michael from Ikeja. Well done, Senior Michael. Thank you for your encouragement. Good morning. God continue to bless you on your work. My talk this morning. Please tell Tinubu we're tired of his nonsense promises to us. Let him release Nnamdi Kanu for us as Christmas bonus, and hope Uzodimma should release Nonsonkwa for us. This is the only thing we Igbos want from them this Christmas. All right. Mary from Ekafa says, the houses that Wike is demolishing, what compensation will they give those that they demolished their houses, because they didn't get those lands for free and it cost them to build? All right. INEC is a work in progress institution, not reliable, clouds with a garment of incompetence and corruption, professionally biased in operations and administration. INEC lacks the credibility in all ramifications, and Nigerians are highly disappointed in the way elections are conducted in Nigeria. This is from Wilfred Nana at Ibejileki, Lagos. Thank you, Wilfred. Well, INEC has decided to introduce a new voting pattern. So let's just say, like you said, INEC is an institution that is a work in progress. So they are refurbishing and, putting in some finishing touches to the rough edges. So let's hope that the institution realizes its mistakes and works on its weaknesses and porosities to ensure that they give us a transparent and safe election in 2027. Good morning, Esther. It's so unfortunate that good news can't come out of this country. Imagine the IPOB members assuring Easterners of their safety for Christmas. I think Mazen Nnamdi Kanu's case is political. What a shameless country. Aneke Chinonso, your country is not shameless, so try to be positive, all right? If you prophesy positivity, you definitely receive positivity. Okay, national grid collapsing every time. Somebody somewhere is smiling to the bank. That is Nigeria for you. Elder Deacon Owo Mafoluko Shudi. Well done, Elder, for that message. Again, Mahmoud must complete Tinubu's 2 tenure before he finds his way out. Nigerians should have this in mind. God bless you. Okay. Oh, okay. You also sent a message, Ike, from Isolo. He says, when it's got time to release Nnamdi Kanu, he'll be released. Remember the time of the Israelite and Pharaoh of Egypt? God said, Pharaoh, leave my people to go. When the due time comes, something will happen. So it will be. All right. Esther, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu's continued incarceration is ordered by Buhari in his hatred for Indigo. And Tinubu should be man enough to say, I'm now in charge. INEC chairman's claim of doing away with the card cannot solve the problem of crisis in confidence with Nigeria and its electoral officers until the ones sitting at INEC presently are edged out. I cannot understand the boast of Afe Babalola to stop Delifarity from practicing law in Nigeria. What is the power of effrontery behind all this? Tony Anele. All right, Tony, well done. Thank you so much. Sweet soothing Esther. What has Mahmoud done with the billions of naira given to him? He has not explained that this is another avenue to ask for trillions of naira, or another avenue to disenfranchise Nigerians again. Nigeria has been captured. Nigerians cannot protest and they'll be charged for treasonable offences. God bless you, Sister Esther and VOP fans. Maggie Odibo from Oshodi. Thank you so much, Madi, for that compliment. I appreciate. Good morning, VOP family. And Babeji from Oshodi. Concerning the continuous national grid collapse, please, has Tinubu and the presidency forgotten that shutting down of national grid is an offence of treason? Therefore, let the Minister of Power be arrested and prosecuted or be sacked. Thank you. Good morning, Esther. What we are practicing in Nigeria under APC is not democracy but autocracy. How would you say we are practicing democracy and people are arrested for speaking? Afe and his sons are playing the script of the Book of Daily. Wicked's rascality is empowered by failed judiciary. Have a beautiful weekend. Thank you very much. I salute you. Wow, this is quite long. I salute you, Sir Gallantry, my gallant brother indeed. How was your morale for this beautiful morning? Okay, no, this is an old message. Wow, your message is very long. Okay, you know what? I think I'll skip that one. Good morning, VOP. Mahmoud Yakub is the one that put Nigeria in this condition. Has it now? Nothing is working. All the institutions in the land has been caged. Only Boko Haram and their associates are free. Okay. Morning, Esther. How are you? Good morning to you too. How are you? There is a saying, when the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse or misuse is inevitable. Since this government came, laws has turned to lawlessness. See how this government is handling Delifarity issue. Imagine MC Oluomo violating court order to be NURT boss. He is following the footstep of his boss in Abuja. Remember the 2023 elections of people not allowed to vote in Lagos because of Obi. Like beautiful Nubia said, it is money that we know. We do not look at competence. We look at we do not look at capacity. That is why Agbaris rule over ignoring people. Imagine one man compromising all institutions for elections again. That is why we are in this quagmire. It's a shame the worst of us is ruling the best of us. Truly, there was a country. Dyer from Fagma. Well done, Dyer. Thank you for your message. Good morning, Esther. Concerning Afe Babalola, why is he in a hurry rushing to court? Why not allow the rule of law take its course? You are a revered legal luminary. However, your approach on Delifarity matter is making you irrelevant over now. Baba, calm down. Churchill from Surulere. All right, thank you, Churchill. Esther, nice to hear your voice this morning. Let Nigerian leaders release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu for a smooth celebration of Christmas this year. CY, honesty from Isolo. Well done, CY. I think I've been able to take all your messages on WhatsApp today. Thank you so much for some of you who sent your messages. So you can still send messages. We'll still have a few minutes to round off the segment of the front page review because we still have the Igbo program newspaper headlines coming up. Quite a lot of packages right up in here for you on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. You want to stay glued because here we give you factual information, up-to-date information on news across Nigeria's socio-political landscape.
I want to talk about what I always talk about, which is the security of the people right here in the north. Most of the tabloids and most of the analysis today, I don't really think any one of them really talked about the insecurity that we are facing right here in the north, which is just a shame. We expect so many things to happen. Wike is doing what he wants in Abuja in the name of trying to make Abuja a habitable place for investors to come in. But if you are trying to make a place for investors to come in and you don't assure them of their security, do you think they will come in?
No.
The answer is no. When people out there, when they hear of the strides they are making and they hear that people are being kidnapped, people are being killed, people cannot feed well, children cannot go to school, women are being kidnapped along the road, do you think they will be interested in coming in to come and invest? The answer is no. So if we don't do the right thing, we keep complaining about inflation, we keep complaining about so many things politically, in every aspect. But there is something that is paramount. If you cannot secure your people, if the lives of your citizens are not secured, then you still have a very long way to go when it comes to developing your country. That is something that most people don't really understand. In fact, our politicians, they don't really know this. Let them deliberate, let them pass laws, let them go to different countries, travel from the length and breadth of this world. If you cannot secure your citizens, if people out there cannot hear that there is paramount and there is proper security, they will not be interested in coming. Even if they come, they will just come and speak with you, dialogue with you, make speeches, sign whatever papers that you have presented to them, and they will leave because of that insecurity that people are facing. Why is Dubai growing up today, flourishing? It is because everybody there is secured. Yes, they have their own challenges, which is peculiar to every country. But in Nigeria, it has now become a case of when something bad is happening or when the insecurity is happening at a particular, nobody should say anything about it. You put on the TV screen, you don't hear about it. On newspaper, it is not being printed. On social media, it is being suppressed by every means. So I will keep talking about this. Let the federal, the state, and the local government them focus on the security aspect of this country so that we can live comfortably. Thank you and good morning. Have a blessed weekend.
Thank you so much. I since North on a daily are doing about where they're being languishing in and all the heavy taxes they even have to pay, the ransom they pay and the tax they pay to these guys. So we talk about have to pay the ransom they pay and the tax they pay to these guys. So we talk about it right here on VOP every blessed day in all our content, in all our programs. So we're actually hoping and believing that the Nigerian security agencies will continue to work hard to ensure that they flush out and rout out all of these agents of anarchy, agents of wickedness in the north. It's quite important if our country's economy intends to develop between now and 2030. Okay, remember I told you you can send your WhatsApp messages to 0817-1756-338. I can only take 2 messages for now because we have the next program coming up very soon and they're already waiting ahead for it. Good morning, Esther. For national grid collapse, they say the head is rotten, the body is dead because the foundation that brought this government is not credible, that it doesn't work. It's putting square pegs in round holes. From your presidency downwards, they will only use their lies, propaganda and eye service and hypocrisy to cover up. That is why Nigerians are in this nightmare. It's a shame the worst of us is really the best of us. Dyer from Fagba. Well done, Dyer. My gallant lady Esther, please kindly help me to wishing our boss, MWO Idris Tanimu, former RSM at 9 Brigade Headquarters, and MWO Ekpo and others. Congratulations for them on their retirement after the 35 years of active service in the Nigerian Army on Thursday, 12/12, from OC Morale at Army Barracks, Ikeja Cantonment. Wow, congratulations to you, boss MWO Idris Tanimu from RSM at 9 Brigade Headquarters and MWO Ekpo and others. Congratulations to you guys. This is coming from your renowned and esteemed one person. All right. He's actually telling you congratulations and obviously saying the best to you. Okay. So that's a wrap right here on the front page review. See you next on Monday. All right. But we have another interesting segment coming up by 10:30. This time we'll be doing something quite different because, it's the season and we need to extend our heartfelt love to our loved ones. So up next is the Igbo guys coming to do their thing and having to let you understand the intricacies and the news behind the news on the front page. Do make sure you stay safe. Make sure that you're hopeful. Make sure you remain positive. It's important to remain positive and help in whatever capacity that you can help your neighbor. Good morning and thank you for staying with us.